Welcome back to Tyers and Braaiers. I'm Nik and Hezron.
I'm Hezron Love.
This week we're on top of the world!
Whoa!
Whoa!
Today it's pokies and buoys,
Roaster cook and relish.
Chevys and levies.
Alan drives us in his 34 Chevy to the levee, but the levee is dry because of the drought.
I make a fish sandwich for Patkos.
Yes, how did you find a fish in the Karoo?
I brought it from home. We end the day with Gay, the Dairy Queen of Prince Albert.
Isn't the Prince Albert another name for a piercing you get on your,
No, I don't know. Tell us.
It's a family show. Use your imagination.
Going through the Swartberg Pass this morning was an interesting experience. I'm not friends with heights. It makes me a bit nervous. The road is an engineering marvel. Just looking at it as you go up, you realize how strong this road actually has to be to hold up your weight. Because you're thinking to yourself, it's a vehicle on this road, you're going up, what's gonna happen?
Hezron didn't look well. Hezron didn't want to admit, but I think afterwards he said he was just tired. He said that's why he looked ashen, I think is the word.
It's a beautiful scene to look down on. Scary but nice. Nik, of course, always has to poke fun at me when I'm going through these situations. I was merely just enjoying the view and I needed some peace and quiet. That's why I might have looked like I was anxious about the situation. But I was absorbing the beauty that is the Swartberg Mountains.
My name is Alan Grunenberg. I've moved here a year ago from Cape Town and I moved my whole business up here, but I've actually retired. So I just potter around with these old machines. This machine was what you call a basket case. It came to my workshop in drips and drabs since '94. When I get a rebuild, I stash a few extra parts to one side, and over the years I collected a complete bike and then assembled it. It's a military Harley Davidson 1942. It was actually sought Second World War action, this particular bike. And they were in armed combat as well. Some of them had guns mounted. They used to come to a sliding hole, throw the bike down and get behind it and pick up the rifles and use it as a bit of a barrier. My passion for bikes started, I suppose, all youngsters that are my age now, their fathers wouldn't let them get motorbikes. So of course what you do, you want a motorbike. So you smuggle one. So right, when you got no money, you make a plan. So I started when I was a kid. I could never own my own bike till I started my apprenticeship, and then I could afford. And the first thing I bought was a bike. And over the years, it's just progressed. It's nice to go over this pass, the Swartberg Pass. This is the bike for that pass. Take your helmet and jacket off and you just change down into second gear and you just go slowly and just watch the scenery. It's fantastic.
Hello, Alan.
How's it, man?
How are you?
Very well, and you?
How's it, Alan? Myself and Nik have never been in a sidecar together.
Can we go?
Come, jump
Excellent.
in. Let's go.
And what an amazing experience. What a beautiful motorbike. What's very interesting about this motorbike is where the gear lever is. Normally you have a gear lever which is by your feet on a motorcycle, but on this Harley the gear lever is actually hand operated with a clutch on the feet, which was very interesting to see. Aha.
Alan's bike is a piece of history. It's a piece of memorabilia that actually works. It's from the war. It's from 1941. It went up to North Africa, probably with my dad's regiment, although he was anti-aircraft. Those were the first conscientious objectors. We don't like aircraft, we're anti-aircraft. And it saw action. He says they used to like lie on the side and then hide behind the bike and then shoot at the Germans in the desert, Rommel and the Germans, and stuff like that. And it's beautiful. It's a beautiful, it's like almost a work of art.
Okay,
Je gaat ons op de grond pad. And it goes, and you can drive it up here into the Swartberg Pass and feel like you're just in a different time. Ah, this is spectacular. Look at this! Look at this! Beautiful, man. Woo!
Is this why you ride? To see mountains and
Freedom!
freedom? I made a fish sandwich in the desert today because the Karoo is actually going through a drought. And to farm sheep and cattle takes up a lot of water. So I decided to incorporate fish into the menu today. I made a fish sandwich with some mayo, some chives, which I chopped up and put in the mayo. Mix that up together. Slather that onto some slices of sourdough bread. I put on some rocket that I had hand-picked painstakingly because Nick only wants the best. And then I put on some pieces of hake and some fish balls. I squeezed over some lemon juice, put on some soya sauce, and Bob's your uncle. Fish sandwich in the desert.
Did you say you smoked bikes as a kid?
What I mean by smokel is you make a plan, you know, you don't let your parents know you ride your friends' bikes and things like that.
How's it, guys?
How's it, Hez?
You guys
Okay,
talking about smuggling?
Yeah.
So I got
You've
patkos for you
smoked
guys.
some patkos
I've
here.
smoked patkos for you guys.
Shot, thank you.
This looks great. The patkos was great. It was fish balls. I feel like there were balls involved and they were fishy.
These mountains are spectacular, Alan.
Oh.
I'm sure you walk out here all the time, ride on your bike.
No, you're so laid back here, you know, this is just paradise.
I think the food is so good that Nick just eats and has stopped paying attention to how good the food is. I think between us we have to have a chat now.
But sometimes I'm so deep in conversation that I don't pay sufficient attention to the food. But it was very good. And the mayonnaise, that was amazing. What do you love about Prince Albert?
There are no queues. You go into a shop, you go into the bank, you go wherever, there are no queues. There's no robots, there's no traffic.
What sort of work do you do, Alan?
I'm a marine engineer by trade or by profession.
Marine engineer.
Yeah.
There's no ocean out here, so when you go out here...
Now I pot around on old bikes. There's a lot of old vehicles here in this town.
The patkos was very good, and Hezron always produces a very high level of patkos. Some of the finest patkos I've ever had in my life has been on this show. I believe you're going to take us to the museum.
Yeah.
And what are we going to see there?
Sort of the history of Prince Albert, basically, from the start. Very interesting.
And you haven't been back there in 20 years, have you?
No.
And the last time you were there, there was a very attractive curator, am I right?
Correct.
Maybe we should go see if we can find her.
Yeah, let's go see the museum, Alan.
Let's go to the museum. Thanks, Hez. That was great.
Go. Peak traffic, Alan.
Yeah. Rush hour.
This is rush hour traffic. Prince Albert is a one-horse, one-street, one motorbike, one classic car, lots of 4x4s and 99,000 tourists type of thing. It's a beautiful scenic town. It's got so much history in it. It's one of the cleanest towns I've ever seen. It's a beautiful place to stay. I think it's definitely a gem.
The Francie Pienaar Museum is a must-see in Prince Albert. A fascinating museum started by Francie, who collected most of the stuff there. Lydia is now the curator, and she's extremely knowledgeable.
Welcome at the Francie Pienaar Museum.
Lydia, tell us about the late, great Francie Pienaar.
Francie Pienaar was born here in Prince Albert in the district in 1897. And she collected antiques all her life since she was a child. Most of what she collected came out of this community, so the theme of our museum is the history of the town and of this area. About 3/4 of what is in our museum was collected by her, and then we've added further exhibits in town.
Now, Alan was last here 20 years ago, and he said he dated the curator
No, I didn't
at the
date
time.
her.
Was it Francie?
She was here. She curated the museum
So
until
he
2 years
basically
before her
dated
death.
a 90-year-old. 1980s.
Yeah.
That's 21 years ago.
Yeah.
Do you recognize her?
Sort of.
Show us some of her
She
things.
was a
Lovely old Lydia. She's an awesome lady. She knows everything about the town. She works tirelessly to preserve the history of Prince Albert, the history of how the town was started.
In 1842, the Dutch Reformed Church parish was established here, and that was also the founding date of the town. Then they applied to the British government, because it was a British colony in those days, to name the little town after Prince Albert, Queen Victoria's consort.
Right. Is it true that Prince Albert...
Is it true that Prince Albert's popular around here?
Is it true that he had a piercing in his,
I don't know. That I don't know.
But that is the name.
There is a story about
the
that.
piercing.
Yeah, there is a story.
Is that how it came about, the name of the town and the piercing?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's awkward. And what's great about this museum is it really does capture the history of this place. Some of the great history and some of the history, the shameful history. The forced evictions, people being forced out of their homes in this town. And that's a history you don't see in most towns. It's just kind of evaporated, disappeared under the carpet, but it's there for all to see. And the sadness of people, laborers having to knock down probably their neighbors' homes, possibly in some cases their own homes, and being moved to the outskirts, to the perimeter of this town. And it's quite painful to see that.
This exhibition is called The Past and the Present. It's about the forced removals that took place in the early 60s here in Prince Albert. And from Nieuwestraat, higher up, is where the coloured people used to live. And with the forced removals, they were, of course, moved out to what's today called North End. And here you can see where the people had to break down their houses.
So, Lydia, can I ask you, so they broke down their own homes?
Yeah. They were the labourers who had to do the work. Sad.
So they have pictures of themselves in the houses, broke down the houses, and they built up the new houses.
Possibly it wasn't the person who had been living in that house, but it was the coloured people who broke down these houses, yeah.
They were then compensated for the forced removals. I don't think that compensation was enough. It's a community broken, torn apart. Lives changed forever. It's hard to see such things, and it's part of our history, and it's sad. It's families, hearts, feelings involved. I was sad, and something I'll never forget. Being in that museum today.
And then we get right up to the present, when Prince Albert got its first coloured mayor in the municipal council, Andrew Claassen.
So your museum was voted the best museum in the Western Cape.
Right.
Why is that? What happened?
When visitors come to this museum, and it's important that they come here first, when they come for the first time, because here they get a perspective on the whole community of Prince Albert. And we've got archives where people come and ask for information. And it's been built up by volunteers. We've had a few people, Francie Pinar, then there was a lady, Frida Haak, who came to Orden.
Frida Haak.
Yes.
I think that's who Alan was dating.
No, Frida Haak was unmarried. She never got married.
Exactly.
Really? Did you know?
He's having you on there.
Okay.
This is another show called Kumbule Kaya. So let's go see the Swartberg Park.
Go.
Yeah, the Prince Albert piercing remains somewhat of a mystery, especially to Lydia. She didn't seem to know anything about it, and I believe her. I think she's innocent in that regard. Lydia, It's been extremely informative. Thank you so much for taking us around. And if you hear anything about the piercing story, please let us know.
I'll do that. Okay.
Thank you,
It's
Olivia.
been a great pleasure, and I'm glad you came around.
Great.
Thank
We've got a
you.
bride to get to, guys. Let's go. Let's go. Let's ride. Cheers. Let's go to a braai, boys.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Nick, for sharing your Karoo family with me. They're such lovely people. And they can braai.
We had Erik, who's like a meat expert.
A meat whisperer.
Yeah, I mean, you know more about this stuff, but I mean, you go to organic restaurants, and this is organic, and this is organic. These guys don't make a fuss about it, but they want some veggies, they go in the garden. If they want some milk, they go milk a cow. If they want to put meat on the braai, they go slag up the lamb.
It's not organic, it's natural. They do things naturally. They do things the way the meat is prepared here is prepared naturally. It's not forced or pretentious. And Erik, in his style, is natural. He does it because the meat must be braaied, not because he needs to impress anybody. Erik,
Yes.
tell me about your chops, Erik.
Wat ons het is gewone lamchops, spesifiek uit ons area uit. En ek braai spesifiek vanaand vir julle 'n choppie wat dalk nie so bekend is nie.
Yes.
Dis 'n gewone dik rib chop en 'n gewone blad chop.
So this is a dick rib lamb chop.
Ja.
Okay. And the other one is?
The other one will be your shoulder chop.
What do you use for seasoning on this? What's your marinade? What's your secret?
As plain and simple as can be.
It's that Karoo flavor, because they're eating stuff here. What are they eating that's
Making the lamb so special.
making the lamb taste good?
Dit is baie unieke bosieveld wat ons het in die Karoo. Iets anderste as wat jy in Mamas by die area gaan kry, iets anders as wat jy in Vrystaat byvoorbeeld sou raak. Dit gee vir hom regtig soos 'n unieke smaak.
So you're a master braaier around these parts. Erik really knows temperature control, meat flipping style, but he does it so casually, organically.
And with such great fashion sense. Where could I get a two-tone shirt like that from?
Nee, ek het nie 'n idee nie.
Really?
From the local co-op.
Okay.
Gay. I met Gay today for the first time. But Nick, you've known Gay for quite some time.
Yeah, I've known Gay since I was in my 20s. So Gay is our hostess. She is the dairy queen of Prince Albert.
Dairy
So
maid,
you
yeah.
may not call her Gay. You will call her Your Highness.
The dairy
Okay,
queen.
well, thanks for that.
So you make milk and cheese and...
I don't make
But
the milk, the
you
cows
don't-
do.
Oh.
Yeah. I
You
get the milk,
process it.
we get the milk out of the cows. And then
He's
the
from
milk.
Joburg. They don't know
and,
about
then,
this.
and then we process the milk into yogurt or cheese or.
The first time I visited here, I was sleeping in the back of a bakkie, and although they let us sleep in their house.
Yeah?
And these are amazing people. You know, her husband Clive, he's no longer with us. He was like the life and soul of this town. He would have been the heart of this thing tonight. And every year I come back and we do a show in his memory. And we raise funds for a trust, community trust here. And they're just amazing people. I love them. That's actually my first memory of Prince Albert was people making roaster cook outside your house.
Exactly. So you see, when Eskom fails and all else fails, we're not going to be sort of sitting hande in die hare like you're going to do in the city. We make a fire, we need our bread, we make a roaster cook, we put a chop on the fire. So we're still pretty self-sufficient. Hey, AB, gaan het? Daar sy. Aby's my right hand at the dairy. He and I learned to milk the cows together. And Auburn is my 2IC. Yeah, they're my right and my left hand.
So you're in charge of the melkery. Can you just confirm, we looked at his hands earlier, but are these good milking hands?
Nee, sy hande is goed vir melk. Voel daar soos, hulle sag genoeg. Hulle kan maar seker doen, hè. They're probably okay.
Dank af as jy kan melk.
Hy weet nie, hy moet nou net
I've never
geleer.
touched the cows.
He's got to be still be taught. But we can
I've
teach
never
him.
touched.
His wife said he's good.
The food we had was very home Karoo-style braai food. It was the forequarter of a lamb. We had some wors, lamb sausages,
Rooster koek.
the
How good was
roasted
that?
cook. No, just the technique involved in preparing that roasted cook. The patience, the turning, because that bread gets hot. And as it heats up, it becomes light and airy. But you have to constantly turn it so it doesn't burn. And a bit of butter, a bit of jam. Oof, Nick. So that was kind of nice. The food was really good. There was a lot of salad, which nobody ate. Salad's not big in the Karoo, bro. Lammies. Definitely. It's probably been one of the best braais we've had, Nick. Family, friends, good food. You know what I'm gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna go make cocktails.
Okay.
Let's find cocktails. The Pink Gentleman / Grapefruit Crush has a shot of lemon juice, a shot of orange flavored syrup, Contral, a shot of vodka, and then takes ice, a bunch of grapefruits, a dash of grenadine just to give it color, pink lemonade, garnish with rosemary, more grapefruit. Don't forget a copper straw to save the environment.
Very important. Alan, what a guy.
What a great guy, Alan. Alan, it was awesome meeting you. Thanks for today.
Likewise.
It was amazing. And you brought that gem of a motorbike out from the deeper inner recesses of your garage.
But you know what was the real gem?
What?
Alan himself. Alan, you're a gem of a guy.
Thank you. So that's what it's like being a side chick.
Oh, yes. We were side chicks to Alan. I also made cocktails.
Oh, the cocktail. I thought the cocktail was great. I didn't know it was going to be pink.
Cheers,
Maybe, do you
everyone.
want to share with me? Yeah. I think it matches your top. Eh? I didn't know that my gift for you would match your cocktail, and I just feel like that was the grapefruit on top. The great thing about this present is that it actually matches the cocktail. This is what the men in Prince Albert wear. Ask Erik, he wears this at home. Maar hy's onder hom is hy poedelnaken.
Dis waar, maar nie die pink.
There we go. Yes? It looks great.
The gift, yeah, the gift was very unexpected, Nick. An apron with a naked pink man. I feel so much closer to you
Was he
right
naked?
now. And pink.
Oh, that's cool.
I was moved close to tears.
Were you really?
Yes, people are gonna see me in that.
That's why you were crying. Thanks for hosting us, everybody. You've been amazing. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers, everyone.
Viva
Cheers.
Prince Albert! Viva!
Today was about families. And Alan. And the boss. And Prince Albert. It was fantastic. I feel so much closer to you.
Yeah, we're working on the married look. Just recently engaged, bought their jackets together,
Yes.
bought the same shirt from the same shop.
Today, yes. We're a matching couple.
Yeah.
You know those couples that go everywhere and they look exactly the same? And you can't tell the difference between the man and the wife because they look the same clothing. It's us.
Goeie genade.